And
How we
welcome
getting on?
back.
So join us again, as always, Mr. Paul Roseberry. How you doing?
Very excited to be here, guys.
As
Always glad to
always.
get the call.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We kind of called you
Yeah.
last second, as always. So thankfully you were
That's
free.
fine. Sundays are a football day. I'm out of region to watch the New England Patriots, being that I'm in Los Angeles. I can't. I may get like that extra paid service, but with my regular TV, I don't get. You get regional. You get like the LA Rams. I don't give a shit about them. You get the Chargers, whatever. So I mean, I can't even be watching the Pats. I kind of have. Let's see.
How are they doing now? Are they winning?
It's a 6-3 game. They're up over the Raiders.
Oh,
It's a
fair
3.
enough.
Yeah, like a 3 field goal game. Who cares about that shit? There's no action.
how do you
There
think
you
they're
go.
going to do this year? Do you think they're going to win?
You know, do you guys follow a little bit? Do you know
He does.
names?
I follow
Okay.
American football, yeah.
Okay, great. So I think Cam Newton looks impressive.
He does. I'll give you that.
We've always loved Tom Brady, but Tom Brady does run like he's got like chicken legs and shit. You know, like there's something. He's like a clown man on stilts at the circus when he runs. So having a mobile QB, it's kind of cool. I think Cam's a funny looking dude in that helmet, though. I think he's kind of like a scary, like a villain or something. Like, isn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, 100%.
I'd be lying if I said I knew.
Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl then? Do you think the Patriots have a really good shot? Do you think maybe it'll be more toward no?
No, to the Super Bowl? No. Maybe if Bill suited up himself and got in there for a couple snaps, maybe. No, I don't think so. I think if they have a playoff run, that would be cool. I think it would be great if we have a season that warrants Cam getting like a 2 or 3 year deal with us after.
That'd be good.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, we plucked Tom Brady out of the mix. Like, what do you have left? Like, I don't know, like pick your favorite TV show and have like 2 of the main characters die. I say 2 because he was so much, you know. Yeah. So what's left of the show? It's like like when Roseanne. Remember when Roseanne went on without Roseanne?
No. Did that happen?
You didn't hear about this?
No.
This was like 2 years ago. So you've heard of the show Roseanne?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, all right. So just a quick all right. So in the 90s, there was a comedian, Roseanne Barr, who became famous as a comic. She was a big, round, loud, funny woman. She married this guy, Tom Arnold. She became Roseanne Arnold. Anyway, she became a one-name comedian, Roseanne. And she got a show. It was a hit sitcom. It was a family sitcom. It did great for years in the 90s. Family name, household name.
Okay.
You know, the show got tired after a while. People would cut that shit out.
Yeah.
They decided this is hilarious, dude. They decided they're going to bring the show back. And all of the cast is pumped. Everybody. They're all alive. You know, they're all still like looking to act. Yeah, I mean, it's been 20 years. So everybody's pumped. The rating predictions are through the roof. Everyone's going to cash in. This is a cash cow. They're going to do great.
Yeah.
No pun on cow because she's large. She's pretty big. But they start filming right before they're going to kick off the season. Roseanne takes Xanax and drinks and gets all fucked up.
Oh, all right.
Fair enough.
And she starts tweeting some pretty racial shit. Like, I honestly, you'd have to Google it, and maybe you should just to see, because it's iconic.
We do that? What? How much can you put up?
Yeah, we could look it up.
Oh.
It was bad enough that the show was canceled the next day. She woke up, she passed out, fucked up on Xanax, having a show, getting ready to make a big paycheck, wakes up, and it's all gone. it's all gone because of some bad tweets. And the show, everyone's furious because they were all getting ready to cash in. They expect that there was about $1 billion on the line with projected earnings for the franchise coming back. The result is absurd. The show Roseanne decided collectively to move on without Roseanne.
What do they call it now?
I don't even know. No, it's called The Connors.
Oh,
it's called The Connors. I don't even want to plug it. It's such bullshit. Like I don't know what she said exactly, but it wasn't like the worst shit. It was like implicative, kind of like But
like you shouldn't have said that kind of shit. We'll see now in a second.
Huh? Yeah, all right. I'm gonna.
Tom's pulling it up.
I think right, this is the tweet. Now I could be wrong, but I think this is like what she said. Give me a second, just to put it
Probably,
up. Yeah. Most likely, because it's.
I think she said someone looked like a monkey.
Yeah.
I just want to point out Paul's tattoo there. That looks amazing.
We've been over that, right?
Yeah.
We have.
Did we lose it?
Bitch tattoo.
Sorry. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Can you guys see that? Oh, is that? I think you're blocking the way.
My screen froze, but we'll give them a little. Yeah, just in case you're looking for relationship advice, we can talk.
Yeah. So that's a.
Oh Jesus.
That's the tweet.
I can't see because we're in the way. Hold on, I'll move it.
I've moved you now, but maybe something about.
I'm not even going to say it out loud. That's just terrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What else you say?
I've never seen it.
Huh. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was trying to say it was a joke. Like in the top left, we can see there. She says she's trying to apologize. She's now leaving Twitter.
Yeah.
I bet
she's leaving Twitter. Is that what it says? It's very small.
It says, "I apologize. I'm now leaving Twitter."
I'm on a big screen. I can read this.
Was her?
Yeah. Also, like this tiny phone.
That's John Goodman.
I am.
Right? Like.
So John Goodman. Yeah.
Really? He was her husband in the show, or like was he
in the show? That was his big. That's how we have John Goodman. Yeah.
Oh wow.
He got launched by the show.
Oh wow! Awesome. I didn't know that.
But no.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Twitter's bad, man. Unless you got something positive to say, probably shouldn't say.
And she's not the only one. Rogan always talks about some woman who did that. Remember? Have you heard him talk about that? There was a woman who took a Xanax on an airplane. And when the plane landed, her career was over. She wasn't an actress. She was like an activist or something.
Oh yeah.
No, I've never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know who it was.
I don't know who it was either, but I've heard him talk about this.
Okay.
If you're gonna do the Xannies, man, turn that phone off.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can get Xanax in Ireland. I'm not even sure if you can.
I have not tried Xanax, and I'm both that much more curious and that much not. And hearing the shit that people.
They might have to destroy your phone before you take that shit, man.
Yeah, like
blow it up.
You've got good whiskey behind you. That's good enough for you. You don't need Xanax.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. That's like, dude, did you ever hear like years ago people were doing bath salts down in Florida and would like eat their friends? Yeah,
some guy ate a homeless guy's face. People were like, as a zombie apocalypse video. It was pretty toned down for what was actually happening in that.
Remember Flacca, Jared? Back in like
Flacca. People jumping on cars and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and like acting mad fucking crazy. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of drugs, Paul's got a thing coming up soon. He's doing he's doing a little piece on what drug?
On cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what should that be?
I should have possibly this afternoon. That might be today. I'd say latest. I've heard posting on Mondays isn't the best. I don't know if I have like enough people to have like a time ripple.
The best day to post ever. Is it it's a Tuesday, I think. The best day
I've heard Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So if I don't get it out today, I'll put it up Tuesday. But it's a fun little riff on cocaine. And my opinions thereof.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on Escobar before.
Yeah. Have you?
It was one of our earlier episodes.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. If you watched it, I'm sorry.
Christ. It was like episode 6.
Dude, I mean, you could go on about that guy. I heard, I mean, just some of the stuff. I mean, I saw Narcos.
Yeah.
I've seen just some documentaries on the guy. I heard
Dark
stuff
Forest.
like, I don't know. It's been a minute.
Right.
Dark Forest?
Dark Tourist. It's on Netflix.
You know what? Yeah, Dark Forest. Like
Dark Tourist.
like the woods?
Tourist,
Like
like you go on a tour.
Oh. Okay. I will look that up.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. The guy's fascinating.
Oh, he's extremely fascinating. Has just the stuff it's mad. Like, you hear so much shit about him, and like when somebody brings him up, somebody will just have like a new fact to throw in there about him, because like he's just that fucking crazy, and he was.
He's either
Did you
held
guys ever hear
at the top or the
what's
bottom.
that?
He's either held at the highest regard or the lowest regard.
I mean, I could see both. I could see the bipolarity, if you will.
No, yeah.
I think, you know, I heard, you guys ever hear, speaking of like always a new fact on, did you ever hear, I think he spent like $2,500 a week in elastic bands?
Something like that, yeah.
Put his money together, something like that. He needed that many elastics because it was all cash.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna look that up now, because I know he did spend a certain amount of money on plastic bands, but it's like just put it in a bank.
I know.
No.
Yeah. No, well, he couldn't unless he owned his own bank. But also the same day I heard that fact, I heard something to the effect of how much he would lose to like rats and mold.
Yeah.
Like
It's
rats would eat his cash.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It was $1 million in a set amount of time. Yeah. Like $1 million a month, $1 million a year to rats.
It was in the millions. Yeah, to rats,
Yeah.
dude.
Just here, he did spend $2,500 a month on elastic bands.
A month. Okay, a month. Yep.
A month.
Wow. I thought it was 20. Yeah, there we go. I had the number, just the date,
Christ.
the amount of time. Yeah, I mean, the guy, like, fuck, he's one of those guys you almost wish he hadn't done the really sick shit, like blow up a plane and that kind of stuff, because if he hadn't, like, you could kind of like him, you know? Like, you could kind of...
Robin Hood kind
you
of
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you start blowing up planes, it kind of affects the PR a little.
Bro,
Yeah.
I remember watching that episode, and fuck me, I could not believe it. It was crazy, like...
Yeah. I know he invested like a crazy amount of money into his local area and just to the poor communities, which is fucking sound out. And like a lot of those places are still doing very well because of him.
You know, there's something to be said for that stuff. You know, like I was explaining to my girlfriend a while back that like even the worst mafia guys in like U.S. history, like your Capones and this and that, they were still loved by the locals because there's always the pictures of them standing on the back of a freezer truck handing out turkeys at Thanksgiving, and the locals are lined up. Like these guys took care of their own. And actually, from what I hear, the mob in Japan is actually like the Yakuza or something like that. There's actually a decency to them because they keep the streets clean. Really? Because they do their own dealings, mob to mob. So they don't want any violence off you know, outside of them. So they'll they're like their own police.
Okay.
Well, as long as it's all right, I suppose.
You know, they probably cut guys' tongues through their throats and shit. You know, they probably do some...
I mean, yeah, you're in the mafia, yeah. But the thing about like mafias is that they tend to usually have very strong family values and more like friends and family. They're like prioritize.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big thing in gang culture as well.
Like looking after your own. I don't know. It's mad, isn't it?
What?
Yeah.
Well, because and if you think about it, it's like funny enough, like when you talk about the mob, the more proper term is organized crime. So they have a sense of organization. They actually, which means that they must have a set of rules and values.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, you know, like when you're on one side of it, things are really, really bad. But if you're on the other side, it goes smoothly, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Sure, I wouldn't know until you're in one, like. So
I guess so, yeah.
What's that?
Which I said you wouldn't know till you're in one, but you want to avoid that.
Yeah, dude, I know. I used to watch this show. Did you ever see Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool. It's Hollywood, like no one
Biker
can get hit
gangs.
by bullets if you're a good guy, kind of like the fuck. But it was kind of, like it makes you feel like these people live a little bit. They're not out here, working 40 hours for the 401k and just falling over dead in an old home. Like these people are digging into it. I think there's something to be said for it.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you brought that up. I do archery, and there's a group, and they call themselves the Sons of Archery.
Why not?
And they have like the same jacket, but like there's a bow involved.
It's right there. It's right there.
I've never understood it. I've seen these people. I've talked to these people. I've never understood it. So,
what their love of the show, you mean? Or?
Yeah, no, it doesn't even like people who have it. It's just an archery thing because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like they haven't well, I'm sure there's some have seen the show, but it's like a cool jacket, and they're like, oh, it sounds cool. It's kind of over their head. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a pun that's right there waiting to be picked up. It just kind of. I mean, God, you're not even changing many letters.
In all fairness, our entire channel name is a pun. Like, awfully. Yeah. We said that, like, we're from a place called Awfully. It's spelled O-F-F.
I think I tried to look that up. How do you guys? Is it with like an O-F? Like what? How is it?
O-F-F-A-L-Y.
O-F-F-A-L-Y. Like you turn off ally and then
curious.
ally.
Yeah, but and we were gonna call ourselves the Offaly, as in the county, the Offaly podcast. But then we were like, people from Offaly may not like that. They might see that as
it's too regional.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about them. They can get a grip. The only thing I would say is it would just, for your own selfish purposes, it might be harder to Google you.
Yeah.
If you had gone.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Just speaking of like branding and rebranding, you've done a bit of rebranding with your channel recently, haven't you?
I have, and I'm doing a little bit more. So here's what I'm doing. Actually, this is a fun little topic, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think. So with my comedy, there's kind of two styles. One is storytelling, the other is stand-up. For enjoy the pun because I'm actually sitting down when I do it from home. But nonetheless, stand-up style. So yeah, it's terrible. I know. Okay. I live in LA. The clubs are not open. I gotta sit down and do this shit.
True.
But
Very true.
So with the storytelling, I've got Behind the Comic is what I call that page. It's a page devoted just to that. And I wear a robe when I'm telling stories. So visually, there's a difference. You can tell at a glance that that's going to be on that page. And the idea there is that, these are true stories, and it's about the life experiences that lead to someone being a comic. And I want to expand that to having other comics, which I think I can do now. My computer, something was wrong with my Zoom line when I tried one of the comic, but okay. Now, on the comedy side, I got this Instagram handle, Open Bar Comedy, because I'm sitting in front of a bar.
Makes sense.
Why not?
Wait, how many accounts do you have?
So I have 3. Well, actually 4 with the confidence one. I haven't really done anything with that in quite a while. But I had an idea today. Tell me what you think of this. I mean, I literally thought of it several hours ago with a slight hangover. I haven't even had I forgot that I thought of this. But
Okay,
so I really haven't had a chance to
You can watch this video if you forget it again.
Dude, honestly, yeah, I'm like, amnesia man. So what I was thinking is this. I've read online a little bit about a great way to find your potential audience is to go to pages which have similar content and have people who love that content. Therefore, probably they would like yours. So what I was thinking is to have a page, and sometimes that isn't really my actual landing page. You ever see guys do this where they're like, go to my page for the best memes or whatever, and you get there and it says, there's like a link in the top line that says the real page is this, and you click on that. Yes. Have you ever seen this shit?
I've seen that plenty.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is this: if I had a dummy page that was purely, I don't know, is this cheesy? This might be fucking cheesy. So if it's like the name of it is Best Comedy on Insta or something like this, Best Stand-Up, Insta Best Stand-Up, so that it's clear just by the name what you're gonna see on this page. And I use that to comment under certain people's comments where I'm like, hey, if you want to see the best, and be that fucking bot kind of guy. I don't know. But then if they go, then it says, hey, my real page is blah, blah. I don't know. What do you think of it? Is this I'm hating it as I say it. It sounded better in bed.
Yeah, it sounded better in the head. Look, man, you're not a bot. You're Paul Roseberry. You're a comedian. Do you really want to put all that time into that when you could be doing it writing stuff and making content?
Oh, fuck, man.
I'm even confused. I'm confused here because you did something and it's what people recommend to avoid. You have 4 pages. What the fuck? You're not 4 people. You're 1 person. Why isn't everything under Paul Roseberry?
Well, everything is. So in fairness, I post everything to Paul Roseberry.
Yes.
I actually do. But what I was afraid of, and I haven't posted to my second, I've never posted to Open Bar Comedy yet. I just thought of it last week.
Okay.
The Behind the Comic, I posted in early summer when I was just beginning to do a bunch of stories, but I haven't been back to it. Okay. So everything I post goes to Paul Roseberry.
Okay.
Yeah. The only reason I was thinking that was kind of for marketing, because some people might be into, with stories, it's a longer format.
Yeah.
Your audience might expect that there's going to be, 7, 10, 15 minutes of story time, and there may be pauses between jokes that could be several minutes long. Because you're building suspense, right? Yeah. And so that might be a different audience viewer as somebody who wants stand-up where the punches are every 3 to 5 seconds. And, the material may be 3 to 5 minutes long.
Yeah. But I get what you're doing. That's smart, but it's going to be hard. It's very hard. And there's other ways you could do it. You want to balance out 4 things where you could just balance 1. If you wanted to really attract different people, what you could do was change your editing format for there are certain things. Behind a Comic should have a completely different editing style to your story time or whatever. I think it's the same thing. But
editing style, meaning like more zooms or a different angle, a different background.
I think just because you see the thumbnail first, a different text or different thing to the thumbnail. Say Behind the Comic, you wear your robes. Yeah. Or and then on your next thing that isn't Behind the Comic, you do something else. You're wearing something else. Right. So the robe is very obvious; it's a certain thing, and then you dress normally is another thing.
Yep.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I'm trying to figure this all out. As we were talking just before we got started, the vidIQ, I'm addicted to this thing. Thank you so much for pointing me in the direction of that. Yeah, and I'm not getting what do they call a referral or a whatever the fuck. But yeah, vidIQ, and as you recommended, I use the free version. I think it's fine. It's really cool to read those analytics, and I think that's a huge first step in figuring out how to go about being more visible. Because as you pointed out, and I think might still be the case, God, I'm trying to fix it. If you search Paul Roseberry on YouTube, the Awfully Irish come up before me.
And you're Paul Roseberry. I want you to come up first.
Yeah.
So we spent a while trying to fix that.
Little things.
Yeah, our 20-minute call went into an hour and a half of trying to fix this stuff.
Oh my God. No, I appreciate it. I'm sure I tailed off in, random, stories there, but
it was good fun.
No, I've used it. Yeah.
Especially because I helped you.
Dude, I'm telling you, I had a bunch of work stuff. I couldn't actually apply it for a little while, but lately I've been doing it a bunch. I actually went back to a video that I put up like 3 years ago. And just because I had this one, I had a topical set. I was in a club and I did a set when United Airlines had that guy who didn't want to change his seat, and they threw him out and beat him up. So that video, I had forgotten, that got 11,000 hits. Wow. And it got those in like a week. Like I was getting like 1,000 a day, and all my other videos get like 300. So I had forgotten that, holy shit, if you grab a topic that's really big, and I didn't know anything about hashtags. Imagine I could have doubled or tripled that if I had actually been tagged in.
Yeah, you could have been a number one video for that topic.
Yeah, you know?
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But you know what though? I'm not even in love with that set. It was like I don't know. I think I thought of it that day. It was very topical. But it would have been nice to get.
Go on, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying it would have been cool to get the views, but yeah.
Yeah, I seen like the likes versus dislikes on that, and I don't think people weren't very happy for some reason. I thought it was hilarious.
Dude, thank you.
Because it's true. And it's true. Like I got beat up by any airline for $6 million. They can all beat me up at once. Hit me with a fucking plane.
All day. Record that shit. Sell it on pay-per-view. I don't care.
I'll do a series where I go to different airlines and refuse to get out of a seat and get paid massive money.
I will cry like a child. I will cry like a girl getting beat. Whatever you want. Who cares? Tears running down the face. For $6 million, and anyone who gave that the dislike,
fuck you.
You know, they're full of shit. Yeah. They're full of shit. They either have enough millions where they're like, I don't need an extra 6 for a whoop ass, or they're lying to themselves. They're just goddamn liars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been doing bits on it at the moment, and you have a new video coming out. So
yeah,
I think things are going pretty well for you. You could say.
Pretty well, you know. I'm excited. I filmed a bunch last night. I've been getting back in the loop. You know what I've been watching a lot of that really helps me to get in the mindset of comedy, especially where it's been COVID and you can't hang out at the clubs and all this.
Yeah.
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
I like that actually. I like the Bill Burr episode.
Oh, with the cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost at like. Yeah, they were in a cigar shop, I think.
Oh, wow. I haven't watched it now, personally, but I heard it's supposed to be very good. Is it who is it? Seinfeld that was he in one of them? Yeah, or does he host it or what? Does he? Yeah. 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 Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's his show. It's about as rogue as it sounds. It's literally comedians in cars getting coffee. The guy starts off every episode walking you through the car of the episode. They're always vintage badass, you know, like it could be a Ferrari, could be a little Mini, it could be anything. Cool. And then he goes and picks up a comic, and they have coffee, just like that. That's
so simple. That's so awesome. Maybe you should do something like that.
Dude, you know, I hadn't drawn the connection, but I think I was telling you in a message a while back, I realized I've had, by now, I don't know, I think I'd had 15 cars by the end of high school. Maybe by college, I'd had 15 cars. So by now, I got to be closer to 20. So I've had so many cars that it occurred to me, I actually have different stories.
Oh, yeah.
For each car. And I was like, God, you know, I have buddies who work for Netflix doing like car shows that they produce. And there's a huge market for car enthusiasts watching videos. Even just like used cars on lots do really well on YouTube. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify, say like 1986 Volkswagen GTI. And here's the story.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that way there, it kind of doubles down. Like you like funny and you like cars. Okay, now we can, you know.
You know, when this video is over, when we're done recording, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about advertising that when you get it going. Because me and Thomas have kind of stumbled across something so good for advertising. It's kind of made us go from like kind of creeping along to woo. Like we
really?
in last week we've done bits. We went from maybe 800 views in a week to nearly 2,500 this week. And
in a week, we
took 2 days off. Yeah,
that's a 300% gain.
It's fucking good, isn't it? So we're going to talk to you about that at the end. It's a secret.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you shitting me? Oh my God, this is like steroids.
Yeah, steroids for YouTube.
Dude, that sounds fantastic.
But yeah, no, tell us a bit more about the car thing. Like, how much have you taught into it?
So I've made a list in my phone, man. I have stories ranging from like that Volkswagen Golf. I bought that car for like $300 and I sold it to a guy, I think for like $375. And he had to make payments for like 5 weeks, dude. I was in high school. I had to go to like a refrigerator and TV sales store and meet this guy in the parking lot to get, I think I'd pick up $75 a week for like 5 weeks.
That sounds so great.
Oh, it was the most ghetto shit you've ever heard of. Yeah. And like the car, I couldn't get an inspection sticker because it was rusted through the bottom. And the mechanic showed me that like he wouldn't let me leave. He wouldn't let me leave in the car. I drove to the mechanic in the car and he's like, I'm sorry. For decency and licensing, I can't let you drive this car away. I actually had to get a ride because the car was so dangerous and we had to rebuild it. Yeah, all kinds of shit. I've had 2 Cadillacs. I've had 2 Saabs. I've had 2 Lexus. I had a Jeep CJ7 with no doors and no roof. I mean, I had them, but I drove without. Yeah, dude, just shit like getting pulled over by the cops and getting out of it. Getting pulled over by the cops and not getting out of it. Going to jail.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like you got a lot of experiences. Like you've done some crazy shit. I think you got a tattoo on one of your arms to prove it.
Yes.
I love that story. But yeah, there's a market for it, so grab it. Do it.
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I'll try to just hammer a few out, and what I'm trying to do now is economy of words and just keep them nice and tight so that people stay on. And, but I think that there's enough to chew on there. I mean, dude. Yeah, I've done some shit,
Yeah, you've done some crazy shit. I'm sure you still do. So.
I think so. Yeah. And so, yeah, now it's time to harvest a little bit. I think I've planted enough seeds and, raised a little crop. And, now it's time to harvest, to make some bread.
There you go. Make some bread.
It's not even a money pun. That sounds so money grabbing.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's wow.
And what's it like in LA at the moment? Is it getting better or is it worse?
We were talking about just before the podcast about what's happening in Ireland. But what's it like out there, man?
Yeah. It's concerning.
That's mild. That's putting it very mildly.
Yeah. So I was about to go, broad scale to say that, everyone's leaving. Elon Musk has moved away. Joe Rogan has moved away. Ben Shapiro is moving away if he hasn't already. Everyone's leaving LA for the same reasons. It's a very expensive place. It's disgusting. The homeless are out of control. But to bring it in a little tighter scale, listen to this shit. This is like, I don't know, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. I'm laying in bed. I happen to be awake. I just wasn't sleeping that well. And right outside of my window, we're ground level on Coldwater Canyon right here in LA. And I hear an accident outside. It was a boom. And then the squeal. Now, you know how usually it's the other way, right? It's the brakes and then the crash. Like they're trying to avoid the crash. This was reverse. This was crash and then the squeal. And I mean, this is 40 feet from my friggin' bed. It's right outside the door. So I hop up. My girlfriend hears it. We both hop up. We're like, what the fuck just happened? So we open the slider and we look, and there's a guy laid out in the street. Laid out. There's a Nissan sideways. squealed out, and the driver of the Nissan, this woman, is running back and forth, pacing hard, right past the guy's head, freaking out, just losing her shit. I'm like, oh my God. This woman's panicking because this guy's dead. She's like, holy shit, she's never seen a dead body, and she's wigging out. I call 911. I'm on the phone with 911, and I'm like, yeah, look, this woman just fucking iced a homeless guy right in front of my house. You got to get over here right now. Coldwater Canyon on the double. So they're moving over, and they're like, listen, is he moving? And I look, and he is. I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, okay, yeah, we got some movement. Okay, he's alive. And he sits up like this. He's still got his legs flat, but he's kind of up on his forearms like that. And I said, yeah, okay, I don't know. I don't know what's left of the guy. I can't see the legs. He might not have legs at this point. I have no fucking clue, but he's sitting up. And then they're like, okay, does he look like he's conscious or whatever, blah, blah. And I said, actually, he just stood up. And he's up on his feet. He's doubled over. He's definitely got his hands on his knees. He's bent over. But I'm like, holy shit, this guy's on his fucking feet. This is better than we thought. This is not as bad. And I'm starting to realize the woman wasn't freaking out because she thought he was dead. She was mad at him. She was fucking angry because he pulled out in front of her, like just walked in front of her car. Her car's all fucked up. She was pissed, and she's still pissed. And I think she was yelling at him. So he's staggering though. And you never know. Like, I don't know, this guy could fall over and die any second. You never know what's going on inside. But he's wobbling. And I said, tell him, still on 911. I said, he's on his feet. And they go, is he walking at all? I said, actually, he is. Holy shit. This fucking guy stands up, starts walking over to a car that's parked, out of his mind, tries to open the door. He doesn't own a car. This is not his car. So the door is locked. He doesn't get in. He collects his belongings on the hood. And I said, yeah, he's standing up. Just hurry up. I don't know, I tell him, hey, look, I got to go. And 911, they always ask, what's your name? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I said, I'm just a neighbor. I'm just a guy looking out. I'm not leaving you a name. And they're like, can you stay on the phone? I said, no, you know what you need to know. I got to go. I don't want anything more to do with this. Get off the phone. Fucking guy grabs his cart, shakes it off, and walks off into the night. You can't kill the homeless in LA. Dude, she hit him, wrecked his ass with a car on foot. Dude gets laid out, walks off.
Do you guys got some kind of fucking superheroes, like pretending to be homeless in LA? Like, was that Luke Cage?
Exactly. What was going on with this guy? I'm still standing there watching, and the ambulance and fire truck pull up, and they talk to her for a sec, and then they take off with like a side light to light up the sidewalk as they're going in his direction. I'm thinking, dude, we are never getting rid of this homeless population in LA. If they can withstand a full-on, full-speed, no brakes blast to the body from an oncoming Nissan, get up and walk away a minute and a half later, these fuckers are here, dude. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, Ireland had a pretty it still has a bad one, but it was a lot worse before. We had a pretty bad homeless problem. Like, what do you see as like the solution to fixing that in LA?
Well,
that's a big question. I'm sorry.
No. You know what? I actually have something for it because it's not my own solution. I just happened to Google where my girlfriend and I both lived in New York prior to this. Mm-hmm. And we saw in New York, there were homeless, but it wasn't overwhelming, like it's a city. There was about as many as you would expect. It didn't stand out as an unusual issue. Here, it's like Night of the Living Dead. This is some fucking 28 days later Walking Dead shit. And we're like, how did California fuck this up? Is it because it's warmer? No. We looked online. The numbers were similar. Per capita, there's actually just about the same volume of homeless people in each metropolis. The difference is in New York, they were sheltered homeless. Their sheltered rate was in the 80s, maybe like 85, 86% sheltered rate. So you may see them panhandling during the day, but I don't know if it's in like a gym floor on a cot. I have no idea where they go, but they're sheltered in New York. In LA, the sheltered rate was like 27%.
Horrible.
So for that reason, they have to establish shelter of their own means, which puts them back in eyesight. That's where you see tents. They call it tent cities. You see tents under every overpass. You see, any range of RVs from like the 70s that people live in with flat tires and shit, and they don't move. So if we could, I have no idea what kind of civil engineering goes into this, but whatever New York did to find shelter for their homeless, if LA could mimic that model,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
we'd be.
Yeah, that would. I mean, that's over here a lot, Jared. I don't know how many like homeless shelters are in Ireland. There's probably like not a lot.
There's just not enough.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Actually, just when you were talking, Paul, I just fucking drifted off. I was out with my girlfriend in Dublin once. I was listening kind of, but I just had something.
It's all right. It happens.
I was
coffee. I hope I don't sound maniacal.
Yeah, you're good. I was in Dublin with my girlfriend before, just for the day out because we do that. And there's this place and you get like cheap donuts, and we went and we got them because we're gonna go sneak them into the cinema kind of thing. But there was this homeless guy sitting.
2 donuts, you said?
Right beside us. You can get donuts there, so we went and got some.
Sure.
So there was a homeless guy sitting right beside us, and as I'm buying the stuff, he says, "Spare change, please." And I was just talking to your woman, and he said this, and my heart fucking broke. "Please, sir, I'm an Irishman, just like yourself." And fuck me. I gave him the donuts, and I sat down and I talked to him. Me and my girlfriend both gave him separately a bit of money, and we sat down and we talked to him.
Yeah.
And he told us like how he ended up being homeless and what it's like being homeless in Ireland. I'm actually getting a bit upset. So he worked for himself, and then like in trade, like most people do in Ireland, or a fair few people do. So like a builder, construction work, whatever.
Yeah.
And he went bust, and everything he had was in that. And then he was stuck. So he went, and he lived in a different city for a while. I think it was Cork. And then, that doesn't work out too well. Goes back to Dublin. Like he can afford a bus ticket after, begging for a while.
Yeah.
And he ends up in Dublin.
Take it out. Yeah.
But then he got jumped by the local homeless people, and they took even more of what he had. At least at that time, he had a sleeping bag. He didn't anymore. So now he'd been reduced to very little, and he was fucking. I'm shaking. He ended up. He was so fucking depressed. Had so many mental health problems as a result.
I would bet. Yeah.
And
probably a couple shots to the head, maybe some concussions at that point. You never know.
Yeah, and he ended up on pills for a long time, and he said he's been getting off them. He's actually been like saving up a little bit so he can do more. He can try get an actual job. But in the end, we obviously had to go. We talked to this guy for nearly an hour, and my God,
oh shit.
Just the sadness in his face. And like, he was. I don't think anyone had talked to this guy in so long.
Yeah.
He just spilt his heart out. Like I can't really remember very well the entire conversation, but you got the gist of it. But it was a lot more emotional.
Yeah.
It was just about Christmas Eve, and he was sitting outside in the dark, baking outside of a donut place, a cheap donut place too.
Not even a fancy donut. No, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, I mean,
that's one of the
tough.
saddest things I've ever seen in my life.
The thing dude, it's great you guys gave him time. That probably did a lot for him.
I hope so. I hope he's okay now. But that's a rough spot, and it's so hard to get out of. Even housing prices in Ireland are so insane that even if this guy did work, if he got like the standard living wage, you know, it would take him
7, I think you told me.
7 years of saving half of his money to buy a house in Ireland.
Well, to buy a house, now that's a big step, though. To be like a renter, I think is like because I mean, dude, home ownership, I think that's just lost in general to so many. Like, it's not even. That's such a key piece of establishing some sort of a nest egg. And I mean, I tease my girlfriend all the time. I read an article years ago saying that avocado toast is the reason that millennials will never own a house, because they spend $12 to $14 on a piece of toast with a quarter of an avocado on it. And I think that's a deal. And
that is a deal, bro. Shut up. No.
Nice.
When I read that article and I realized how much, I just started dating my girlfriend around that time, and I realized she loved to buy it at a cafe near her house. And it was maybe $8 and the egg was like $10. And I figured I could make that for her for like $1.10 or something like that, but maybe. Yeah. And I would every day. I was like, hey, you know what? Fuck that. Here's you can call it romance or you can call it frugality. I'm making that breakfast for you. We're never going there again. I will make that. I figured out the recipe. I figured out it's not a recipe. It's a cold dish, not even hard. But I got I was like, no, we're not. There's no reason. I would rather spend my $1.10 than see you spend your 10. Like, it's costing me money to see you save. I don't give a shit. If we're ever going to be an alliance here, it's worth it. Like, come on. But no, I mean, even just for that guy to get on his feet though, and just get a shitty little apartment, dude, I mean, you got to wonder, because you got to have a decent outfit just to even get a job. You know, you kind of have to have an address to list just to fill out an application. And really, you got to have the headspace. I mean, who knows what that guy's been through, and fuck, to be able just to have the focus and go to work like he doesn't live in a broken down car for the first 2 months. I don't know, man. I don't know. Life's I mean, we could go on, I think that life is kind of like the only reasonable way to have a perspective on life, I think, is to look at it as a playing field. I think that life is a fraction of our existence, life on earth as a human. And it's a sport, just like a football game. That's what it is. We came down here just to play for a while, see how it goes. Not everyone's going to win. Not everyone's going to score, just like a game, So, and because otherwise, like, I mean, you couldn't, how do you, you couldn't even function knowing guys like that have that kind of life and people have it so bad. But, hopefully your talk helped. And
fucking, I hope that lad's doing well. But it is the drug thing that got to me as well. Because, man, if you're living on the street, you're going to get bet up by a bunch of other people. They're going to try to take your stuff. Who do you go to? Basically, no one's going to listen to you. If you go to the guards in Ireland and say another homeless guy stole your sleeping bag, like, who's going to do anything? And then, like, having kids like me sit down and talk to you about it, and you have to, like, explain your life story, basically. It's not fun. And like knowing what it takes to get out of that situation, it's even harder.
And the thing is, like, we'll always be looking at it from a perspective of uneven playing field. Like, because we can look and say, all right, well, if we were homeless tomorrow, we know what we would do to get out of it because we're of a healthy mind, which functions in a way that has value in society. We can process time and value and,
But after 3 weeks of sleeping on the concrete and getting beaten up once or twice and being pretty hungry, that kind of goes away.
Yeah, you become the street, I would guess. You could become your environment. I mean, there's always that question of nature versus nurture. Does it go the other way? Like the movie. Yeah. I mean, not to add any humor to this topic, but did you ever see the movie Trading Places?
Yes.
It's an old movie. You have seen that?
Yes.
And they wanted to see, would Dan Aykroyd, would Winthrop fall apart if they ruined his manicured, successful life?
Yeah.
You know, how quickly would he resort to violence and drugs? And, you know, it didn't take long.
Yeah.
You know?
But, you know, it's part of the world we live in. I know there's a lot of people who do a lot to try and end it. Fuck, this went dark.
It did. But, well, you know what, though? On like a lighter note, so I really, and these videos, I haven't put them out yet, but I'm working on a perspective. I'm trying to get, I call it like an operating system. I'm trying to really understand the human mind in such a way that guys like him, anybody, whatever your issues are, you could gain a perspective that could get you on track. Regardless of education, regardless of intellect, I want to find a base core system of understanding of how to look at life so that you can then begin to establish your own value, have your own perspective from the inside out. It's regardless of what's going on outside around you. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
That you see it from the inside, and you can begin to follow a few steps and you start to carve your own path. I think I've got some stuff done on it. I think I do. It's,
you help a lot of guys with their confidence, so I guess that's kind of part of it. It
is. And it was sort of, I didn't know how deep it was going to go. Like, the confidence was kind of just some, it's very surface, because, you know, a lot of that is about dating, and dating's a big deal. And when you get upset about dating, that can really mess you up.
Yeah.
Totally. But if you're like fucked up, dude, like some shit happens to you, like your family dies in a plane crash, you know what I mean? Like real questions, like real, how do you continue to function in this world? Trying to balance cause and effect of some terrible shit, you know, like if you're really, I mean, there comes a point where enough bad things happen. And dude, I met a homeless guy years ago. I was doing some acid in San Diego, and there'll be a story about this one day, but I was doing some acid, and I met this guy named Big Jim, and I gave Jim some acid. I'm like, fuck it, let's do acid with a homeless guy. I'd already done acid with a father and son homeless duo earlier in the night. This is in Pacific Beach, San Diego, and so I've been drinking with these homeless guys all afternoon and doing acid and shit, just to know, just to feel like a reporter, you know, just to get the inside scoop on what they see and how it looks. Yeah. And I ended up hanging out with this guy.
Unique way of doing it, Paul, just saying.
I guess, yeah.
Very, very unique. I love it.
Well,
I'm trying not to piss myself.
What's that?
Trying not to piss myself laughing. It's like, oh yeah, I did that.
Dude,
the homeless dude, you know?
Yeah, just to be like a reporter about it.
That's exactly, dude, because, you know, the more traditional ways, you can get that on Channel 6 News. You can get some surface bullshit for 38 seconds. Fuck that. Let's do some acid and drink some beer, some malt liquor with homeless guys who live outside. Like, let's get into this. And, dude, Big Jim was reasonably healthy for a homeless guy. And I mean mentally healthy. He was not so far off. Big Jim, and he was physically healthy as well. He's a big guy. I was like 6'4", that's why he was Big Jim. He showed me where he kept his manuscript. Big Jim had written 400 pages that he had printed out. I didn't read it. I mean, I don't know, you know, like it was just one copy, but he would go to the library and write. He was working on a book. Jim pointed to, and yeah, of course I know, anything a homeless guy says could be total bullshit. You never know. But it sounded very coherent. We spent quite a bit of time.
Anything anyone could say could be bullshit.
Very true. Thank you. That's a good point. Yeah. I'd actually worry less about the homeless. They have less to lose.
There you go. Yeah.
Good point.
So this guy points to a hotel. We're on the beach, right on the sand, and he goes, "You see that hotel?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I used to work there." I said, "Okay." He said, "I was the maintenance manager. I did okay. I wasn't killing it, but, you know, decent job, reliable, steady, wasn't going anywhere." He said he and his wife owned a home. They separated. The way California was set up was very pro-wife on a divorce somehow. He goes, she got the house. I had to move out. I still had to pay for the house.
Oh, man.
He said, so I did. I continued for a while. You know, it wasn't all my money. But he goes, later on, she met another guy. He moved into the house with her. He said, my ex-wife was living in my fucking house, sleeping with another man who was also living in my house that I go to work every day to pay for. And there comes a point, he said, fuck that. He goes, why would I keep being a janitor so they can go have sex in my house? This is stupid.
Yeah,
and he said he just quit. And that's what happened. He said he quit his job, just walked out, because he would always get garnished, apparently, even if he got another job. He said, no, I'm going off. I don't care. I have nothing left, and I don't care. And so he quit his job, stopped talking with them, had nothing more to do with the house, and became a guy of the street.
Wow.
Damn.
He was still a coherent, reasonable, like, this guy was so cool that at the end of the night, I was like, hey man, it's been cool hanging. You know, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I didn't know where I was going. I had just taken a flight to San Diego that day. I was high on acid and decided to go to San Diego. I didn't know anyone there. So I didn't know where the fuck I had to go, but I was done hanging with Jim. So I said I had to go. And I think Jim knew I didn't know where I was going. And Jim's like, hey man, you know, if you want, I can actually teach you how to use these public bathrooms on the beach as a place to sleep at night. They're really not so bad. It's not hard to stay warm. And, you know, and I was like, fuck, dude, I appreciate that. And I'll keep it in mind. I got a couple bucks. I'm going to find the YMCA. You know, I'm not quite in that position just yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, this guy, he didn't seem to be messed up on drugs. He didn't seem to be a bad guy. He wasn't smashing shit in the street. He wasn't causing a disturbance. And his story made a lot of sense. And I was like, you know what? Interesting to know that you're a part of the homeless community.
Yeah.
There are people who just decided, I don't know, I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm going to fold.
I wonder how the protests have affected the homeless community. My guess is going to be negatively.
I wonder.
I doubt anyone like went out of their way to like fuck with homeless people, but I feel like in a roundabout way, when they trashed the whole area, that they ended up doing it anyway.
Well, I wonder, you know, just like it may have really helped that guy to spend some time with you and to feel involved. I wonder if the protests are an opportunity for them to integrate with a mass, just like that, where you already have a group of people outside, their focus is on something larger or other. And I wonder if they just weaved into that just to kind of be a part, even if they weren't an active, you know, I don't know, whether it be protesting or the rioting, any part of it. I wonder if they just liked being elbows with people.
Yeah, I'd say when you lack connection, like I'm going from assumption, like in Ireland, at least with my experience, they lack a lot of connection because, you know, I don't talk to their families because obviously if they're homeless, their family doesn't give a shit. Because man, if someone I knew ended up homeless, you know, I got a double bed, get in beside me.
Yeah,
in a non-sexual way. We'll put up a barrier, you know. No, there's a floor, there's a fucking spare bedroom. You know, you want to be there for people, especially when they're at their lowest. But it must have been nice to feel like you're part of a community if they were involved in that. Yeah,
you know, feel like they blend. I would bet that did a lot for them, whether they knew it or not. I don't know. But just to feel like you blend, just to feel like, and dude, I think where a lot of this protesting comes from, and especially the looting and the rioting that goes on over here, I don't think it's as connected to the cause which it appears, as racial injustice. That's obviously a catalyst. But I think when you see some of these people, dude, I think a lot of people feel disconnected. Even there's like you know, just because you're not homeless doesn't mean that you're not like 2 steps above it, you know, feeling disconnected, feeling like you don't have the impact and ability to receive the reward which matches your effort. I think a lot of people feel like life runs them over every day. but they just kind of hold on, making that minimum payment and just catching up with the rent right on the first, you know. I think a lot of people have this frustration of just wanting to see it go down, you know, just wanting to level the playing field and just to see, you know, just to feel like they're not the only ones who are not good at this.
Yeah.
And I think there's some of that right now that is kind of maybe graying the line a little bit.
Yeah, like what you're saying, a lot of this right now is, especially when it comes to political parts of it, or people want to feel like they're part of a community. Because right now they can't be part of a community. I can't go down to I did today. I got, for the first time in ages, probably 8 months, I got to go down to my archery club, and that was great.
8 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So first time in 8 months, I got to see my friends up there, and like before then, you know, I would have been huge in the archery community, and right now I do nothing in it. I can't even shoot really. So I felt a disconnect there. So like I've been talking to people the whole time, and that helps me. But some people don't have that opportunity. They probably didn't even have that community in the first place, and then whatever little they had taken away, it makes it worse. You know?
People are isolated, man. People are home. There's been a lot of talk of the fact that having isolation going into these social issues, which cause, you know, being really fanning the flames.
Yeah.
If people had stuff to do, jobs to be at, you know, and like you said, their normal community, whether it's family, friends, they may not have the energy or the urge to just connect with something on that level.
That's a great point.
That is a good
but
point.
I've seen a counter argument that, like, the jobs we have, like the intense work hours and the really fast lives we live, distract from the problems that are there. And when this all slowed down, we looked more into it. Now, I don't know how much I believe in that thing, but it was the counter argument.
Well, I was with you in the beginning of it, because it's what I was feeling a few minutes ago about the idea of not really feeling successful in proportion to your efforts, and to feeling like you're failing at life, you know, like failing slowly. You're not getting the F, you're just getting the D- every single month, you know, every day.
Yeah.
Then you could, you know, see a chance to like burn it down, and you're like, fuck yeah, let's, you know, I can see where that could really set people up to want to see the destruction and a leveling of the playing field. You know, it's tough because you learn as a kid that don't ever lean on the word fair. Life's not fair. It's not.
It just
at
isn't.
all.
And, you know, the idea of it ever being fair is like nearly a fringe theory. It's so far out there. We can try. Like, you could dedicate your whole life trying to do it, but by the end, the next generation comes, and it can just get fucked up again.
Well, what that means to me, though, is that what we were trying to do with the word fair is we were trying to establish an economy of lifestyle. We were trying to find a pattern of social behavior which we could rely on and apply to various situations, a universal, you know, fairness. Okay, if this guy's good, then I'll be, you know, he's good to me, I'll be good to him, but it doesn't hold up. So that means we got to throw it out. But that doesn't mean that we're not still searching for a pattern. We're all looking for a pattern. And I think that there are patterns which are reliable. That's just not it. And you know, you don't want it to be as simple as, well, if you just get a job, go to work every day, you know, you'll have enough food to live and a room, because that sounds boring, you know, like that sucks. Like, I really like searching for patterns. I think it's a very interesting thing to do with society, to figure out what makes us tick, you know, and things which are reproducible, you know, to look at situations that, it's fairness. As a kid, we hope that's the pattern. We hope that's the rule. And then it doesn't. And then maybe that's kind of where things come apart. Like, fuck. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it just anarchy then? Do we flip the other way? You know, and live under a bridge and throw rocks at people you don't like, and, you know, just fucking whatever, you know, lawlessness. And but I search for that quite a bit. And I think I think that there are patterns which, I guess, like trying to figure out patterns which ignite engagement as well. You know, like I really find that you can offer some great advice to some people and they don't take it. But if you offer advice to people who want it, then your success rate's going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
Much, much higher. You know, so you can go around and offer advice to 100 homeless people today, and they're going to be like, yeah, whatever, you know. But if you get 10 homeless people who are done being homeless, and they're like, no, for real, like, I don't know, I had a bad patch, I want to get the fuck out of this.
That's kind of like how the guy was. He's fucking sick of it. He could, like, that guy was, like, there was two things that guy was going to do, and it was he's going to try his best to get out of there, and honestly, looking from the sadness in his eyes, he's going to off himself. Like, he was, yeah, you know. It's a fucking tough life, man. You know, I'm grateful for what I got. You know, Ireland's a nice, quiet place. I get to live in a pretty peaceful country. I don't have any fears of, like, terrorism, conflict. Like, who wants to deal with Ireland, you know?
No. Yeah. No, it does seem like a pretty on the up kind of place, like a pretty that's the way it looks from the outside.
Retire in Ireland, you'll be happy,
dude. I mean, it's always seemed like a cool place to. We're definitely going to visit. Charles and I, as soon as COVID lifts, we would love to visit. But it does have a, and I'll let you. We have to have a drink, no question.
Oh, yeah. We gotta have more than one. Jesus, man, come on.
Yeah, I think a few.
There you go.
We'll get fucking sideways.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I really do think that if you can gain a perspective broad enough, I think that I think it's absurd. If you think about it, we go about trying to make decisions in our lives based on the nearest facts and variables which we can grasp. Meaning, you know, you got to have food, so you're going to need a couple bucks. So where can I do that? Who's hiring? How do I get a job? Okay, now I have some food. Dude, you ever think about that? We'll go way out. We'll go. Paul did some acid. Like, you ever think about the fact that none of us know where we were before we were born? None of us know where we go after we die. And none of us know what we're supposed to be doing with this life in between those 2 points which have no beginning and end.
And no matter who tells you they think they know, they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Nobody knows. It's the scary thing about it. They don't.
But can you imagine trying to make decisions on anything, given that we don't have those points set?
Yeah.
Like, we're all babbling fools. Like,
it's like being put in a game, okay?
Yeah.
It's like being put into a game. There's no backstory. There is no missions to complete, and then it's infinite to a degree. There's no ending. It's just until you die.
It's open world. It's like an
pretty
open
much
world.
That is open world.
Jeez, lads, we live in a simulation.
You can wander aimlessly from the mission for your whole fucking life and not even know. You don't even get a side mission. You're just
There's no accomplishments.
And then,
there's no, you know, there's no side quests. You do like.
Well, there are accomplishments, but like they're relative.
Yes. They're relative. You decide what the mission is. Yeah. You decide. Because life, I always put it a little bit similar to like a casino. You see, a casino has no windows and it doesn't have any clocks because they don't want you to be considering the outside world while you're there. They want it to become your world. So it is very similar. You don't know what was going on before or after. It doesn't matter. You're here now.
Yeah,
your world is what's going on right here.
I'm avoiding those things at all costs.
That is so smart.
They're so
that
dodgy.
Casino thing, Jesus, that is so smart. Fuck.
Yeah, those guys are twisted.
Yeah, that's.
Don't forget, the house always wins.
Yeah.
But if you develop a basic casino strategy as a player, then you can start to have some fun. What is the one thing you got to know about playing in a casino? Your first goal is to play with the house's money. Don't bet your rent. Then you're fucked. Then you go outside and you're homeless. You play with money you can afford to lose, and that way there it stays fun. And I think you have to look at life similarly. I don't think you can take it so seriously that if it doesn't go well, then you're actually fucked. Because you're not. You don't fucking know where you go after. We're all going somewhere else after. We all leave. It's as if you went to a casino that played with just chips, because they take your identity off from money. They don't want you to look at money. It's harder to put money down on the table. That's why they trade for chips. It's easier to bet with chips because those don't matter. You can't pay your rent with chips. In life, you don't leave with any. So what the fuck do you care what the score is when you leave? Bet freely. You know, I mean, be conservative if you want to have more to bet all night. And if you're having, you know, playing a bad hand or several bad hands, maybe move to a different table. But you don't leave with anything. So just treat it as a game. And that's, you have to. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Like, good people get run over every day in accidents, you know, school teachers who volunteer get killed by drunk drivers. It doesn't, you cannot try to make sense of it in that way. You cannot, because it won't work. You have to look at it as purely a game. And, you know, sometimes on a field, a guy gets hit, he gets leveled, and you're like, oh, fuck, he's out for the rest of the game. That's death. That's what it is. You gotta go sit on the sideline. Doesn't mean that you died on the field. It's not really over. You just, you know, this game, you're out. Or you get tagged out. But then you can start to have a little bit of fun with it, because you can see life as a little more loose, a little more relaxed. My favorite comparison for it is, and I was telling to Chelsea the other day, you guys have ridden on roller coasters.
Yeah. A lot.
All right. Yeah, right? They're fun. They're fun and scary at the same time. See where I'm going with this? Fun and scary.
Yeah.
And what else? You chose to get on.
True.
Now, when you get off a roller coaster, you know how they try to sell you that picture? Like the camera snaps a pic, and like there's a screen, you know? But it's not just you on the car. It's like, you know, 6, 8, 10 people also on the ride as well, right? Have you ever looked at the spectrum of reactions? Inevitably, anytime you look at that picture, you have somebody who's gripping to death. They're so scared, you know, and they're really, you can see truly, like, they have accepted that their reality is in intense jeopardy. This could be it. They are not enjoying the ride. They're fucking terrified. White knuckles. It's real. 2 seats behind him is some guy with his arms up going, ah! And he's smiling. He's laughing. That guy doesn't give a fuck. He's getting exactly what he paid for, and he's hoping to do it again if the line is short enough when he gets off.
Yeah.
Man, fucking roller coasters. Who came up with this shit?
Fuck off. Fucking crazy. I have one of those water ones you can get on, where you go up and then it's like a roller coaster, but it's water. And I was on. It was me.
Keep a picture of one.
I have a picture. I'm not gonna show it now because I'll get
like you're in a log, like a log kind of thing.
It's me and my girlfriend in the front, and then in the back is this older couple, and we knew it was this older couple because we saw them get on before us, right? And so we were all on, and then they were taking that picture. We went back later on to have a look at it. It was me and my girlfriend. We were both like hands up in the air enjoying ourselves. And then it was the husband in the back, and you can see the top of the wife's head hiding. Like,
no.
It's great.
You see, now if because you know that everyone's going to be fine after, and your existence on the ride isn't the totality of their existence, you can laugh at their pain. It's okay. You can. And what you would call their misfortune, you can enjoy the humor of it because you know they're going to be okay after. You know it doesn't really matter. And you know that the humor is that they could have treated it differently and enjoyed it like you did. A certain part of you was scared, but you were able to associate your perspective of your in-the-moment existence to a much larger scale. You know your life didn't begin at the beginning of that log ride and end when it got off. No, You got a whole fucking life, dude. This is a goofy thing that you did to like for fun.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And I think that's how we have to look at life. I think it's just like that. That's exactly, you know. And if a piano falls on your head, that's a silly way to die.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny to somebody. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we got existential today, huh? How about that shit?
I didn't think we'd be talking about this, to be honest.
No, yeah. I thought we were
I'm very surprised.
About funny
Fucking
stuff.
hell. You're a comedian, Paul. Say something funny.
Say something funny immediately.
Oh my God.
Say a knock-knock
Did I ever
joke.
tell you, let's see, something funny real quick. I'm trying to think of what's been going on. You know what? Actually, all right, we will soften it up with a quick, how about this? You guys want to play with something new? You guys want, are you still there?
We're still here.
Where'd your picture go?
Yeah, it'll be right back.
All right.
Oh man, some of my site. God, looking at it from that perspective.
So,
all right, how about
what
this?
do you think the universe is? No.
Yeah,
Go.
So, all right, here's something did we ever talk before about like when it comes to irony? Did we ever talk about? I think we did talk about this once. Trojan condoms. You guys know Trojan over there, right?
Yeah, we have Trojan over here.
Do we?
Well,
did we ever talk
I'm aware,
about this?
we're aware about them, but I don't think we have talked about this. No.
Okay, I really enjoy this. I like everyday irony. I get excited when I see something that's right in front of our faces, makes no sense. So Trojan Condoms, clearly an international brand, global brand of condoms. Their slogan in the US at least is America's most trusted brand in condoms. Arguably the industry leader.
Okay.
Yet, do you know how the Trojan story ended?
They got out.
It broke open. The horse that was full of men broke open, and men came pouring, gushing, if you will, gushing out of the Trojan horse. Where it broke open inside of a penetrated gate. That's where it broke open. Could you imagine a worse name for a prophylactic than the Trojan horse story?
I don't know where you think of these things, to be honest. I actually have no idea. The mind of Paul Roseberry will never be that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it here. We're an hour and a half in. It's been great. Paul, if people want to check you out, where can they find you?
No, they're not allowed to. Go away. No, that's not going.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't have enough hashtags. They'll never find me. Just look up Awfully Irish and sift through until you find Paul. You guys are my online identity. It's pretty much Paul Roseberry for everything. ROSEBERRY. Paul Roseberry. At Paul Roseberry Instagram. Paul Roseberry on Facebook. At Paul Roseberry Twitter. Paul Roseberry on YouTube. I don't even know if I come up first there, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if you want to check him out, you may as well. Paul, we're going to chat at the end. Just tell you about tell you that little YouTube secret we were talking about earlier.
Can't wait.
And to everyone who watched or listened, thanks for checking us out, and take it handy.
Look to you.